A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 9, verses 9 to 13. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. Passing along, Jesus saw a man at his work collecting taxes. His name was Matthew. Jesus said, "Come along with me." Matthew stood up and followed him. Later, when Jesus was eating supper at Matthew's house with his close followers, a lot of disreputable characters came and joined them. When the Pharisees saw him keeping this kind of company, they had a fit and lit into Jesus' followers. "What kind of example is this from your teacher, acting cozy with crooks and riffraff?" Jesus, overhearing, shoot back, "Who needs a doctor, the healthy or the sick? Go figure out what this scripture means. I'm after mercy, not religion. I'm here to invite outsiders, not cuddle insiders." The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 9 verses 9 to 13. The story of Jesus calling Matthew the tax collector to be his apostle brings us a message of hope and comfort. As we read through the Gospel, let us keep this in mind that it is Matthew himself who is reporting this incident. He must have been reliving these moments with gratitude and joy. From the state of being despised and hated by people, he received the invitation of Jesus to follow him. He was asked to make a decision of his life, to give up the wealth and comforts of being a taxman and to go with a wandering preacher. That was a huge decision to make, which Matthew would cherish for the rest of his life. We followers of Christ will also have such moments where we experienced the merciful gaze of Jesus and his forgiveness. Matthew reminds us never to forget those moments of grace. We often hear people talk about painful incidents in life and they say they will never forget. By doing that, they choose to live in the pains and anger of the past. Instead, the gospel invites us to cherish the memory of God's mercy and forgiveness that chose us to be Christians, to be his followers. The tax collector Matthew did not forget his moment of conversion, and he lived the rest of his life for the gospel. When an apostle forgets his origins, he distances himself from the Lord and becomes an official. Pope Francis calls such officials of the church who perhaps do a good job but fail to be apostles anymore. They are people who organize pastoral projects and plans and many other things, but they are incapable of transmitting Jesus because they have forgotten from where they were chosen, says Pope Francis. To be a Christian is a great thing, a beautiful thing. When the Lord chooses, it is for something great. When Matthew was called by Jesus, he renounced all to follow him. He invited his friends to sit with Jesus to celebrate. At that table sat the very worst of the society, and Jesus with them. By eating with tax collectors and sinners, Jesus was effectively identifying with them. God's mercy seeks everyone, forgives everyone. The only thing he asks of us is to say that all-important yes. The Lord's mercy is a mystery. God's heart is the greatest and most beautiful mystery. If you want to make your way to God's heart, take the road of mercy and allow ourselves to be treated with mercy. Why do you sit and eat with the sinners? The scribes questioned Jesus. The same question has been the source of conflict in the church across the centuries. We are too fast in labeling people as bad, evil, and prefer to keep them out of our communities, while forgetting our own sinfulness and mercy of God.